The house on Hollow Street, I ran. Barefoot. Bleeding. My breath was a jagged mess and my vision swayed, but I couldn't stop. If I stopped, she'd find me again. The moon hung like a watchful eye above the twisted trees lining Hollow Street. My feet pounded against the cracked pavement as I forced my battered body forward. The cold air burned my lungs, but I welcomed the pain. It reminded me I was still alive, still free. I don't know how long I had been trapped in that house. Days? Weeks? Time didn't exist in there. Only her. Her name was Margaret. At least that's what she told me to call her. I don't know if that was her real name. She was old, at least 50, but she moved with the obsession of a teenage girl, her pale hands always trembling when she touched my face. She said she loved me, said she saw me one evening in the park, and just knew we were meant to be together. I was walking home from my friend's house that night when she pulled up in her car, smiling, asking for directions. I was polite. I didn't think much of it. Then everything went black. I woke up in her house. At first, I thought I had been in an accident. My body ached and my wrists and ankles burned. Then I realized why. She had tied me to the bed. Thick leather straps held me down, chafing against my skin whenever I moved. The mattress smelled of lavender and something sickly sweet. Her perfume. It was everywhere. She sat beside me, running her fingers through my hair. "Oh, sweetheart," she cooed. "You're even more beautiful up close." I thrashed, my muscles screaming against the restraints. "Let me go!" She only smiled. "You don't understand yet, but you will." Then she leaned down and pressed her lips against mine. I froze. Her breath was hot, suffocating, as she kissed me with slow, lingering desperation. Her lips were dry, cracked, and her hands cupped my face like I was something fragile, something she could keep forever. My stomach churned. I tried to turn my head away, but she grabbed my jaw, holding me in place. "You'll learn to love me?" she whispered against my lips. Tears burned in my eyes, but I refused to let them fall. I refused to give her that. She kissed my forehead, my cheeks, my lips again, soft, calculated, possessive. Then she sighed and sat back. "You're still scared," she murmured, as if disappointed. "That's okay. I have all the time in the world." She left me there, bound, helpless. When she wasn't with me, she kept the door locked. I spent hours pulling at the straps until my wrists were raw, but they wouldn't budge. Sometimes she would untie me just enough to let me eat or use the bathroom, but I was never truly free. Until tonight. Tonight, she was careless. She had fed me dinner, some lukewarm soup, and untied my right hand so I could eat. I waited, stayed still, pretended to be weak. When she reached for my bowl, I struck. I grabbed the edge of the ceramic dish and smashed it against her face. She screamed, clutching her bleeding cheek. Before she could react, I yanked my other hand free, then my feet ignoring the sharp sting of my torn skin. She lunged at me, but I shoved her back with all my strength. She stumbled, hitting the nightstand, and I ran. The front door was locked. Of course it was. But the window, I didn't think. I just moved. I threw my body against the glass. It shattered around me, cutting my arms and legs, but I didn't care. The cold night air hit me like a slap. My feet hit the ground and I ran. And now I was here. Hollow Street was empty. No houses, no people, just endless trees and the whisper of the wind. My legs ached, but I pushed forward. I had to reach the main road. I had to find someone. Then I heard it. The sound of tires rolling over gravel. I whipped around, my heart slamming against my chest. The headlights cut through the darkness and my stomach dropped. It was her car. She found me. "Sweetheart," her voice crooned from the driver's seat as the car slowed beside me. "You must be so cold. Come back home. I'll keep you warm." I bolted. She stepped out, slamming the door behind her. "Don't run from me! Do you have any idea what I've done for you? I gave you love!" I sprinted into the trees. The branches clawed at my face, but I didn't care. I could hear her footsteps. She was chasing me. I didn't look back. I didn't stop. And I prayed that I'd never hear her voice again.